Hey everybody, Tim and Julie here for another Batman review. We did Batman Begins, and then we did the unofficial sequel, The Gotham Knight. And then now we are in the second part of the trilogy, because we'll just count Gotham Knight as like a half. The Dark Knight. Came out in 2008. A lot to talk about for this one. But again, it's more than 10 years old, so it's not so much as a review as a reflection. But what did you think?
I think this was my favorite movie.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
It flowed just right, and a lot of characters.
A lot of characters.
And a lot of nice characters. Oh, well. I thought Batman, Bruce Gordon, was hot.
Oh, Bruce Wayne?
Bruce Wayne.
Oh, yeah. Christian Bale.
Yes, he was good.
Your grandkids are going to just be like, Grandma!
But yeah, it was good. I loved it. And I loved the character that played Harvey Dent.
Oh, Aaron Eckhart. Yeah, he's a good one. I like him. Yeah. So it's funny that you're about Christian Bale, because my mom was still alive when this movie came out, and she loved it. She thought it was amazing, only because of Eric Roberts. Like, she had such a crush on Eric Roberts. Like, going back all the way to, like, the early 90s and, like, Best of the Best, when he was, like, the martial artist and stuff. So, for me, this is probably my second favorite Batman movie. The first being Batman Returns, with Catwoman and the Penguin. But, that being said, I do have issues with this one. Mostly only because, like, there's a lot of filler material, for me, at least, in this. Where this movie's, like, 2.5 hours long. And it feels like it's 2.5 hours. Like, you're really going on. But some of the things for me could have just been kind of cut out. Like, some things were unnecessary, but I liked them. Like the copycats. I thought that was actually really interesting, because that's not something they talk about a lot, where people are trying to copy Batman. So I was like, okay, I like that. I'm okay with it. But, like, the character who's trying to blackmail Batman, like, the guy that figures out that it's Bruce Wayne... You could have cut him completely out of the story, and you wouldn't have missed a thing.
No.
The same for the whole scene of, like, reconstructing the bullet. Like, there's just a lot of scenes where I was like, okay, I get why it's pushing the story, but I was like, it doesn't need to be there.
No.
Probably my biggest love-hate connection with this movie is Two-Face. Like you said, I loved Aaron Eckhart, or I think his name's Aaron Eckhart. Whatever. I think he did great. Absolutely fantastic. And I thought he was a great Two-Face. But he's only Two-Face for like 20 minutes, and then they kill him off. Right. So that kind of irked me a little bit.
Yeah.
This is one of the last movies Heath Ledger did before he died. Technically, I think he did one more after this. The Imaginarium of Dr. Panakis. But, so it's really sad that, for one, that they killed off Harvey Dent, but they left the Joker alive, and then in real life, it's the opposite, that Heath Ledger died. But Heath Ledger is easily he's in my top 3 favorite Jokers. Like, if not second. The first being Mark Hamill from the animated series. I think he's great. And then, honestly, like, Heath Ledger is kind of tied with, was it John DiMaggio? And from one of the animated movies that we haven't watched yet, so I won't spoil that. But Heath Ledger does phenomenal in this. And so once again, we've seen Cesar Romero, we've seen Jack Nicholson, and then here Heath Ledger is a very, very different type of Joker.
Right.
So, like, I don't know, it's not even fair to really compare them, to say, like, which one's your favorite, because they're so different.
They each have their own way of portraying.
And one of the reasons I like Heath Ledger so much is he actually reminds me more of the Mark Hamill Joker from the animated series, which is funny, because he's supposed to be based off of Jack Nicholson. Because, like, I always think of the Joker as being completely insane. Right. Like, he can't help it. Like, it's against his will. And, like, parts of this, because that's one of my complaints of, like, Jack Nicholson and Cesar Romero, is, like, it felt like they were trying too hard to be crazy, but they weren't. They were just stupid. Whereas like the whole let me show you a magic trick with the pencil, I was like, that is batshit crazy.
Yes.
Like that is homicidal crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And like just the little things. It's the little lines that he has that he does so good. Like the same scene where he's like trying to leave and the guy's like, you think we're just gonna let you walk out? And he's like, yeah. Like it's so like, yeah, that it's perfect. And just I loved it. And like I just want my phone call. It's the little stuff that makes him so good.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he's a genius. Like the whole opening scene is brilliant, where he like is taking out all of these guys, and then just boop, the bus pulls out right with the other buses.
Right.
It's so over the top in that scene, but it works. Like he's like this weird genius character. The accountant and Batman going to Hong Kong. Again, that's for me one of those scenes where like it's beautiful, like it looks great, but I mean, if you lost the scene, would it change the movie? Not so much.
No.
Like for 2.5 hours, you could probably have cut out a half hour easy. And then my other favorite scene is the Joker in the nurse outfit, which again just shows like how homicidal crazy he is. Loved it. We see the so in the first movie, Batman Begins, we see the destruction of Wayne Manor. In this one, we see the destruction of the Batmobile. And then he gets like the little Batman motorcycle, which it goes from being like, I think of like the 60s where it's like a Harley or something with a sidecar. And then this is like a crotch rocket where he's just like built for speed. So we get that one. We saw, like I said, Gotham Knight is kind of an unofficial bridge between the two because it has Jonathan Crane in the middle, which we see Scarecrow in the beginning of this, and then Ramirez is in Gotham Knight, and then her character is expanded in this, so she's a dirty cop. It's Gotham and dirty cops. I can't even. What'd you think of the Scarecrow? Like anything?
He wasn't that scary. Yeah. I mean, I kept thinking, that looks like Scarecrow. Yeah. But yeah, he wasn't as crazy looking as.
Yeah. And that also falls in one of the scenes. Like I was so excited to see Cillian Murphy because I liked him in Batman Begins, and it's the same actor in this one, but like he felt shoehorned in there, like as like this opening sequence, and I was like, okay. This movie sees a new actress for Rachel. Because in Batman Begins, it was Katie Holmes, and in this one, it was Maggie Gyllenhaal. What did you think of the actress change and them killing off Rachel?
I liked the change. And yeah, it was sad that, that she had to die and get blown up, but...
I didn't expect that. I think it kind of caught me off guard.
Because I thought that, Batman went to save Harvey. And
he thought he was going to save Rachel. But of course the Joker double-crossed.
And Gordon was going to the other location, but he didn't get there. Which
Gordon, again, one of those scenes, like the whole Gordon faking his death. Yeah. I don't know why. Like, it was so... It's one of those, like, when it happened, this movie's 10 years old. It's hard to remember exactly what I thought. But, like, I remember thinking, like, they wouldn't really kill off Commissioner Gordon, would they? And then they killed, like, Rachel, and I was like, I'm sure they might kill off Gordon, too. And then, sure enough, when Gordon shows up at the end, and even, like, his wife didn't know.
Right.
If somebody told me Jordan was shot and killed, and then, like, the next week he showed... I would hit that... it'd be bad. He'd wish he'd died. Because, I mean, it's just unnecessary. Like, the whole thing just seems so weird and so, like...
to put his family through all that.
That's about all I got. Like I said, I really do like this movie. It probably seems like I'm complaining a lot, but I do really like this movie. But it just seems like... So, Christopher Nolan, who directed this, is a fantastic director. Absolutely love him. He's done all sorts of great, great movies. And the unfortunate part is, as directors go from being like first-time new directors, and they keep getting built up, studios just kind of let loose, and they're like, you know what you're doing, just go for it. Yeah. And as much as I love Christopher Nolan and even movies he's done after this, like, I feel like somebody should have stepped in and was like, you know, we should trim this down a little bit.
Yeah.
But he just kind of did what he wanted. Because you could probably have, like, added to this and split it in half and have just been just fine. Because, like I said, Two-Face didn't even need to be in this. You could have just eliminated that character, shorten it down, and, like, just have him get burned, and then boom, you got a whole movie for next time. But I do really, really like it. I just also, years of watching it, I'm like, you know, this doesn't add anything. Like, this doesn't need to be there. So, yeah. Any closing thoughts for this one?
No, I enjoyed it.
Okay.
It was good.
So as always with the movies, there's one more movie left in this series. Who, without telling you or hinting, who would you want to see get this sort of live action treatment? Like this type of, like, we're making it more realistic. There's 2 villains in the next movie. But whoever jumps to your mind that you want to see.
I see Catwoman.
Catwoman, okay. Yeah. Anybody else?
I don't know.
I don't know? Okay. Well, we'll have to stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Yep.
Surprise me.
Yep. Okay. For those who have seen it, go ahead, let us know what you think. I'd like to discuss it. Like I said, and a lot of people absolutely love this movie, partly because of Heath Ledger's death. Like, he died before this even came out. Yeah. And so many people love it because of that, because it's his last movie. But that doesn't make it perfect. Like, it still has flaws. Yeah. So for those who have seen it, go ahead, let me know what you think. I'd like to discuss it. And thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And Julie and I will see you guys next time for The Dark Knight Rises.